we got beat by a team today that played better than us. Syracuse outplayed us, and I think you look at it, and they played error-free football. They have a senior quarterback that led an offense, and he ran it and he threw it, and they did not have any turnovers, and we turned it over 3 times. And I would be shocked if we'll ever win a game here if we lose the turnover battle 3-0. We're not going to ever be that much better than another ACC team that we can lose a turnover battle 3-0. I mean, the one, we gave them the ball on the 10-yard line, that led to a score. The other one was in the red zone, so there's 14 points right there. And, if you say what did this game boil down to, I would say number 1, it was a turnover battle, and number 2, we didn't tackle very well on defense. I don't know what the third down conversions were, but I would imagine that theirs were really good and ours were really bad. I think the good thing is, again, our kids competed. Sam did not have a good first half, and in games that he did not have a good first half, he usually has not bounced back in the second half. I thought what was really encouraging is he did bounce back in the second half. A lot of the mistakes he made in the first half, he didn't make in the second half. He stepped up, he made some plays with his feet, he made some throws, and we ended up getting 2 more scores on touchdowns, and it got us back in the game. Defensively, I do feel we're getting better. We did not give away alignment plays, we didn't give away assignment plays. We tackled awful. The amount of third downs that we delivered the ball exactly where we wanted to and then couldn't get Dungy on the ground or couldn't tackle a screen, we just had an awful tackling day. And, it's kind of similar to in other games that we play well early, and once the snap count gets up there and we get worn down and we've got to put subs in, we get crushed. So we have no depth, and when the snap counts get into the 60s in the third quarter and we start putting other guys in, it's patchwork. So we just got to keep improving and getting better and sticking together. And now we got to go play in 5 more days. So it is what it is.
You talked about getting so high the snap counts in the third quarters. Is there a way to combat that where it doesn't happen?
Yeah, get off the field on third down. That isn't just a function of what we do on offense, that's a function of what we're not doing on defense. And when we're not getting off the field on third down, and, we're a little bit of a mode of last year that we got to try to outscore people, and we're probably not quite as good on offense as we were a year ago. But until we're more consistent on defense, that's how we have to play. Anytime we try to slow it down, we're 3 and out. So at least when we go fast, we make first downs. And I debate all the time whether we should slow it down. And anytime we slow it down and we allow a defensive line to get set, that's when we give up pressure. When we go fast, it negates the pass rush. We got time. They weren't subbing. We weren't allowing them to sub. We were wearing them down. We had some good long drives. You slow it down and they can sub and they catch their breath, we're probably not going to be as good on offense. So just where we are right now.
Ironically enough, Coach, that was kind of my question, is how do you feel the offensive line held up for you? It seems like in the first half, gave up 6 sacks. It seemed like their defensive line was in the backfield often, getting to Matt and Cade.
We've the last 3 games, I think we've been very inconsistent on the O-line. I thought Florida State was maybe the worst we played on the O-line all year. I think in some ways Louisville was the best game we played all year. We did not play well in the first half. We gave up a lot of pressure. There were times that we had guys open that Sam didn't have enough time. And then in the second half, when we played faster, we protected better. And that's kind of the catch-22 is, play slower. Well, when we play slow, we give up pressure and defensive line gets set and the coverage gets set. And, so it's, in the second half we played faster. We made first downs. We protected better. I think yardage-wise, I think we had more yardage than them today, but, I mean, you know, when you lose a turnover battle 3-0, you're not going to win. And, you know, this is part of Sam's development. That I'm proud of him. He's a good competitor. I think he's done an amazing job this year as a true freshman. But he was responsible for 3 turnovers today, and their senior quarterback had 0. Now, when their senior quarterback was a freshman and a sophomore, he turned it over. And now he's older and he doesn't. And when John Wolford was a freshman and a sophomore, he turned it over. And as a junior and a senior, he didn't. And we've got to get Sam to not turn it over now. You know, and it's been getting better. And we had 10 turnovers the first 5 games, and then we only had 2 in the last 3. And then today, it came out again. I mean, the one just slipped out of his hand, the other was a bad exchange, and the other was an underthrown fade. You know, but we're putting way too much pressure on him right now. I mean, it's just, as he goes, we go, and that's a heck of a load for a freshman quarterback to carry when you're not playing well on defense. You know, hey, Sam, you know, you got to lead us to a victory, and by the way, we're going to probably have to score 35-42. That's not an easy task, but that's where we are. Last week, he and we did it. This week, he and we didn't do it. And so we're in it together, but that's the nature of the quarterback position. And Syracuse defended us in a way similar to Tulane earlier in the year, that they were going to force us to beat them throwing the football. They outnumbered the box, kept the linebacker in there. Go ahead, we're going to rush the passer, have an extra linebacker in there, and you got to beat us throwing it.
Injuries have obviously been a big problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, we moved Demetrius Kemp to linebacker, and he gets hurt in the first quarter. I mean, if I'm a parent and the Wake Forest coaches say we're going to move your kid to linebacker, you probably want to step in and say, I don't know if that's a good idea right now. I mean, that position this year, I mean, if you notice, most of the game, we made Demetrius Kemp our middle linebacker this week, and in the first quarter, he twists his ankle. And it just, I've never seen anything like this. It's just that one position, we can't stay healthy. And it got us again. And then what happens is now you're playing freshmen in there, and I mean, Syracuse wore us down. I mean, they did. They were more physical than us, but it was the accumulation of all the snaps, all the reps, and we got really young in there. I mean, Ryan Smenda hasn't played in 5 weeks, and he probably played 60 snaps today.
So what's your major concern now that you have a short week getting ready?
That is my major concern. I mean, I've said it many times. I just think I think it's crazy after 9 games of a season in November that we're going to play one of our rival games on a short week. I mean, you know, we're having a hard time recovering on 7 days rest. And we're at no competitive disadvantage. NC State's got to do the same thing. It's just, I don't see how this is good for the players and their health. You know, I want anybody who's ever, you know, made a living as a football coach, who's involved in this game every single day, to say that, hey, your 10th game, you're going to play your rival on 5 days rest. You know, I don't think it's fair to the players. But that's our TV contract, so we're going to do it. And again, no competitive disadvantage. NC State has the same thing. I think we're the only team that has been asked to do that twice in a year in 11 or 12 years. I mean, they don't, since what year? 06. So somebody said, hey, you shouldn't have teams do this twice in a year, so nobody did it for 12 years, and then all of a sudden we're doing it this year. And they're both conference divisional games on a short week. And, you know, I said to people all the time, if I as a football coach scheduled 2 scrimmages within 5 days, you know, I'd probably be investigated. You know, so it's tough. And we've got to get those kids back tomorrow, and we'll start the next prep. You know, but it is very challenging. So, but we'll get them back, and it's a short week. And like I said, NC State, they have the same issue.
You mentioned Sam's struggles in the first half. Did you ever consider maybe changing things up? And
no.
In addition, what's Kendall's status?
Kendall's hurt again. So, you know, we gave Kendall number 5 today because we were going to get him more involved with special teams. and there was going to be chances that him and Cam Glenn could have been on the field together, and he was cleared to practice Tuesday, and he got hurt, a new injury. So he had an ankle injury last week, and then he has a hip flexor now, and it just, again, it's sometimes when it rains, it pours. So, you know, we'll see if we can get enough guys that can suit up for Thursday.
You mentioned how uncharacteristic the turnovers have been based on recency. You had season highs in penalties in the first half. What was the concern there? What was going on?
I mean, there was a lot of chippiness between the two teams, and they called it on Wake Forest.
What did you see against Syracuse that wasn't necessarily called?
You know I can't answer that question. So if I answer it, are you going to pay the fine? Okay. I mean, it was a chippy game, and you know sometimes they call it on the person who responds, and we've got to be more disciplined in that. I mean, we had a guy pull a guy off the pile, which is an automatic penalty. You know, Luke Masterson hit their quarterback late. I thought that was a good call. You know, and then we had a pass interference. You know, so, you know, at halftime you're down 21-10. 14 of their points are on a short field that you turn it over on the 10 that you don't even get hit. And then that last drive, we had a pass interference and a late hit on the quarterback. And I think they had 45 yards of penalties on that drive. So, you know, we didn't play well today. They played better than us. We did some uncharacteristic things in terms of penalties, lack of discipline, turning it over, and we're probably not overcoming those things.
In regard to the 2 short weeks, have you expressed your concern with it to the league?
I mean, when the schedule came out, I understand what our obligation is and what our TV contract is. My issue was, why do we have it twice? You haven't done that to anybody since 2006. And not only do you have it twice, it's against 2 of the biggest games on our schedule. You know, the BC one early in the year, I'm fine. It's game 3. You know, we played on a Thursday night, then a Saturday. You know, it's week 10. You know, we're banged up. And I just, you know, can there not be a bye week for both teams before the Thursday game? Again, and I'm sure scheduling's a nightmare and it's not easy. And I don't claim it is easy, but yes, when the schedule came out, you know, I expressed concern that I did not think that that was equitable to people who do you think? So, I mean, I said I wasn't happy with it. And at that point when it comes out, you know, they're not going to change it, but I just didn't think it's an equitable schedule that, you know, somebody at some point must have said you shouldn't do this twice to a team in a year because they hadn't done it since '06. And now this year they did it to us. And, but again, I mean, that and a nickel gets you nothing.
Obviously, this would be probably needed to win if looking towards bowl eligibility.
Well, we need to win. We need to win 6 games. So there's 3 games left, and the path is now narrow again. So, I mean, we got last week, which helped. Obviously, this was one that was important to us that we wanted to get, but now we got to find a way to get a game on Thursday, and we'll do that.